tip is what Julius Caesar knew about real estate investing. You probably didn't know that he knew much about real estate investing. He was just like, I came, I saw and I conquered, right? He's that guy. So, but I want to explain to you how these two people are associated with each other. And I may even tie it back to the sort of live coaching that we just did a few moments ago. And I want to make sure you guys have an idea for what that looks like. So just a reminder of who the heck this guy was. So Julius Caesar was a renowned general, politician, and scholar in ancient Rome who conquered the vast region of Gaul and helped initiate the end of the Roman Republic when he became dictator of the Roman Empire. And what did he say when he got there? What did he say when he got here? I'm going to be taking over things from here, right? Don't worry your pretty little head. And I'm going to be the leader for how long, did he say? That'd be forever. That's a little absolute power, right? And what did some of his top commanders say? No. And what did they do? They stabbed him. They assassinated him, right? But he has some really good quotes, and he has some really good sayings that were copied, that were written down, and I want to share some of those to you. So I want to share some of those tricks with you. So some of his famous quotes, obviously, I came, I saw, I conquered. If I fail, it's only because I have too much pride and ambition. How many people can be put in that category? In the end, it is impossible to become what others believe you are. As a rule, men worry more about what they can't see than what they can see. No one is so brave as when he's disturbed by something unexpected. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred in their bones. Which death is preferable to every other? The unexpected. And then my favorite, et tu, Brute, right? That was more from Shakespeare, but it was said about Caesar. But as it relates to real estate, and as it relates to something that I encountered recently with another real estate investor, and it is this quote: "If you want it done, then go. If not, then send." Think about that. So in the case where we were just doing some live coaching a moment ago, who are we sending? The realtor. And I don't want to say, someone who's unqualified. Someone has a lot of qualifications, right? A lot of training. But who are we sending? Who is that person? Who is that person to us? Our advocate, our number one supporter? Their advocate. I'm sorry, who's they? The owner's advocate. Try again. Whose advocate are they? Their own advocate, right? They want the easy slam dunk, layup sort of a situation when it comes to selling their property, right? So if you want it done, then go, and if not, then send. How many of you guys have experienced a situation like that where it's like, you send someone in to go and do the work, and they come back and they screw it all up? And then in some cases, they make it worse than what it was before. That happens all the time, right? So what he meant was, if you want it done right, you have to go do it yourself. When you are the principal, then you are the owner. You care, and you will do a great job. I'm curious, how many of you guys get calls, like robocalls, robo-dialer calls? Yes? How many of you guys? Yes? What do you almost automatically know about these people? Someone said scum. Okay, what do we know about these people? They're persistent. They're calling on someone else's behalf. And where are they calling from? Some other country. We are not a country of nationalists or imperialists here, are we? They're calling from some other country. What are the telltale signs even before they say a single word? A little boop. What else? Sometimes someone will say the person who's calling you is a spam risk, right? What else do you see? Is there a long pause? So what does that mean? Oh crap, somebody actually answered the spam risk call. I'm just shocked by it right now. I'm a little dumbfounded. So forgive me if it takes me a minute to say, oh, hello, and then how do they pronounce your name? Completely incorrectly, right? So my name's Chenoa, so I get everything, right? And sometimes and so my last name is Grove, and what I love is when someone pronounces my last name and they say Mrs. Groove, and I'm like, I think I like that one. I'll go with that one, right? But so there are all of these telltale signs, and when they start talking to you, are they confident? Are they sure of themselves? No. Do you know that they were sent? Do you know when you are talking to someone who is the owner? When you're talking to somebody, you just know. Why? How? It's their confidence. It's how they project. It's how they come up and they're like, I'm going to get this taken care of right now. Yes, yes? When you're getting robocalled by these people, or when you're sending someone in, that does not show up. And that conveys, right? Even if it's whether it's a gut feeling, or whether it's just, I don't know if this person is cuckoo, or if this person knows what they're doing, or if this person can actually, do you feel like, so as someone who owns a lot of properties, I get a lot of calls from investors, other investors as VAs, right? What do I immediately, and I want to play this out, because I want to know who the good VAs are and who the good VAs are not. But I also get calls occasionally from some of you guys who are calling on your own behalf. Does that show up differently? The answer is 100%. When you are the agent and you are doing it on somebody else's behalf, you can do a bad job. You just don't care as much. You optimize for yourself rather than for the principal's assets. That's why I said, who is the agent really working for? And a lot of you guys said, oh, they're working for the seller. It's like, in the seller's dreams they are, but really they're working for themselves, right? And I'm curious, is anyone in here a fan of Naval Ravikant? Okay, just curious. He's like one of my super idols right now. So he is one of the startup whisperers in Silicon Valley, and he's done a lot of studying of a lot of different things, and I'm listening to a lot of his podcasts right now. So if you guys are looking for a great podcast, Naval Ravikant. I'm sure there are some Tim Ferriss fans in here. Any Tim Ferriss fans? 4 Hour Body, 4 Hour Work Week, 4 Hour Chef, Tools of Titans, Tribe Mentors. So in Tools of Titans, Tribe Mentors, and Tim Ferriss, his job, in addition to writing a book, he's got like the #1 podcast out there, and he interviews other successful people, right? So he wants to tap into their secrets, right? So that's one of the things that he studies. And he's introduced me to hundreds of really successful billionaires, icons, and other people that we all want to emulate. Naval Ravikant is one of those people. So why does this come up for us in real estate? I will tell you that in addition to the live little coaching session we just did right there, I was recently asked on one of my coaching calls by someone, and another investor said, I just hired an assistant to do the cold calling for me. We started this week, she called 100 people, following up with text and email responders, but she only got 3 people to answer the phone. Any advice on getting a better answer rate? What do you think the answer to my question, the answer to that question was? What do you think I advised him to do? Someone said do the calls themselves. Like, this is, it's funny because, I asked this investor specifically, I love that you're outsourcing, right? I love that you're delegating. I love that you're hiring, and I do. But what do we want to delegate and outsource and hire first in our business, in our lives? This is the interactive part. What? Leads? What do we want to outsource first in our lives before we outsource our sales function? So what I asked him was this. How much time are you spending cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, doing the lawn, right? How much time are you spending doing what in our family we refer to as MWAs? What's an MWA? Minimum wage activity. Outsource every single minimum wage activity in your life first before you ever think about outsourcing the sales function in your own business. Think about that. A lot of you guys are like, oh, I'm going to hire a VA to, call on my leads. It's like, great, you're going to put the most unequipped person in it's like, here's this, the checklist for the 747. Good luck. This is what you're doing, right? Do you think that person's going to wreck the plane and wreck your business? Yes. What can a VA do for you that won't have that effect for you? Is there a lot of stuff? There's a ton of stuff. Can they scrub the list for you? Yes. Can they scrub it against the do not call list to make sure that it's you're staying safe and legal? Yes. Can they organize other parts of your life that don't require some of that human interaction where someone can immediately tell whether or not you're talking to an owner or whether or not you're talking to some person from a different country who answers the phone after a 5-second delay, who acts very shy, right? So and you know what he says, I think my VA is really good. What did I tell him to test that? Put your own phone number on that list. Put your own phone number on that list. Do you even know what your VA sounds like? Do you even know what number pops up for your VA? Do you even know if that number says spam? Right? Wouldn't you like to know that before you send this VA out to do all of the most important work in your business? And the answer should be yes. This is the last thing that you want to outsource. And I know and there are ways to make this easier for you, right? So there are many different dialers to where you're not spending, 10 to 20 hours calling, leaving an individual message every time. So there's like, when you record your voicemail, you got to be standing up, you got to feel it, you got to bring energy, you got to hope that somebody's going to call you back. When you're texting, right? Is that important too? So if you are going to outsource it, just make sure it is the last thing that you do in your business. Another one of my colleagues is a real estate investor, came to me and said, Chenoa, hey, we were really kicking butt when we first got started in real estate, but now our business has completely gone downhill. This was about 2 years ago. And I'm like, okay, well, what's changed in your business? Well, we're doing everything the same. I'm like, yeah, except, well, we're not doing the door knocking anymore. We're sending someone else out to do it for us. What did you just tell me? The person that you hired to do it for you is just not as good as you. Now, I don't want all of you guys to be egotistical terrorists out there and think like I'm the only one who can do this the best in the world, right? But I do want you to understand some of the constraints of the people that you might be hiring, right? Hire the right people, put them in the right jobs. Yes, can they shred your papers in your office and file for you? Yes, have them do that. Right? But if they're not a people person, if they're not good at interacting, if they're not going to sell you the way that you can, that's just please make that the last thing that you outsource. Please make that the last thing that you outsource. Because lead generation is the highest dollar producing activity and is the last to leverage off. It's all about getting that lead generation in and making sure that that's what you use to run your business. So if you want it done, then go. And if not, then send. So as part of our tips, guys, we've got a ton of different tips that are out there. You guys are welcome to go and check them out. All of them are designed to give you some tip that will build your business. All of them are designed to give you the shortcut so that you are not like a blind man in a dark room looking for a black cat that isn't even there. So thank you guys for allowing me to share that tip of the week with you guys.